All right, truth seekers. I want to welcome you to Friday's show at 3 p.m. here in the Texas time. And we got a great guest for you today. We're going to be talking about the swarm. And when I say swarm, we're talking about a swarm of UAPs that's happening not on a weekly basis. No, we're and not monthly. No, we're talking daily almost, and probably hourly. But you know, the best part is it's being recorded. Finally, we have someone that's going to be showing not only just the proof, but some amazing photos of swarming or UAPs, or now we're going to call them dragons, that's been happening in the Marina del Rey area. So, man, it's going to be a great interview. So, guys, get ready. You know, note takers are the best, you know, and so we definitely want you to take some notes. But today we're going to provide a lot of video for you, a lot of video. And we're going to be talking to my friend Dr. Shiepe here, and he's the one who has not only technology he's invested into, but also some few things there. So, as always, I'm gonna give us a quick opening, and then we'll get our show started, and we'll hit it there from there. All right. So, truth seekers, it is Friday, and I am happy with it. And if you're here right now, you could have been any other place, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, I like to take the time to bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones watching this show. And as always, to give you the big promise, we're going to be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, creating captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. And to give you the background, I'm located in that jumbo state. This is where those UFOs come out to play. It is a Texas thing, y'all, and everything is big in Texas. But today we're going to go all the way down to Marina del Rey, and we're going to show you some UFO footage and everything else. And so I hope your Christmas and all of that is about to be ready. And we're going to take you into the new year with some proof videos. So as always, you know, this is how we roll. So we're going to get ready for it, and I'm excited. Got my notepads too, because this is going to be an interesting conversation. So let's get rocket, get ready pretty much. And I'll look in the chat and give some shout outs to some of the early goers here. We got Robert here with us. And of course, we got the greatness of our show producer. Lonnie is in the house. We got Steven in the house. Magneticus is in the house. Bonnie is here. Ghost is here. And anyone else, go ahead and put your name in the chat. Let me give you a quick shout out so we can get this show on the road, and I'll bring up the greatness of Dr. Shiepe here in just a few seconds. All right, so we got Banger Griff is in the house. If I said that, no, Banger Fit. Okay, all right, we'll go with that as well. All right, so let me bring up my notes and then get our guest in here as well, and let's get down to some great conversation. And we're going to be doing that right now. All right, so what's going on, Dr. Shiepe? How are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Appreciate you asking. How are you doing?
Doing fine. It's a little cold here at the command center. That's why I'm wearing my jacket. Texas is about 10 degrees right now here at the office. And this is Texas, and we really don't get a lot of that. But, you know, the flip side of this, Doc, is that the same time last year, we had the record-setting heat in December, and it was like 95 degrees. What the opposite a year later is now is 10 degrees. That's crazy.
I remember. Yeah, that is crazy. It's crazy weather. It's a lot going on.
Well, we call it Texas weather being a little bipolar. So just wait a minute is what we said. It goes up, down, because we're right there in the middle of everything. And but when it gets hot, it stays hot. And that's for sure. All right. So we're going to get into some things first. Let me just give people a little information about you, Dr. Shiepe. You know, you're in Los Angeles, born native, and you created and founded the first mail order pharmacy in America in 1986. And then you retired from there, a 20-year career as a celebrity pharmacist. We're going to get into that in just a moment. And also you begin a heavy researcher in UFOs that frequent the Marina del Rey area, which we're going to talk about a lot of that. And you captured hours of footage, and I know in our previous conversation over 4,000 videos that you said. And when you're not engulfed in the research, you can be found providing resources for animal rescues, working on new novel. We want to talk about that too, and a business plan for the pharmacy industry. So, real quickly,
Yes.
celebrity pharmacist. How was that? What? We don't have to stick a lot of time on that, but just give us some of the. Can you say who? Anybody? Can you mention the name? I mean, we're not saying and got anything, but who would have came in and got some, some cough syrup from the pharmacy?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a gray area, because as soon as I mention someone's name, technically that's a violation of HIPAA.
Okay.
But I can tell you, I mean, I was even amazed. I had some very high roller people came in. But what I did was I started the first mail order pharmacy in 1986, Los Angeles, and it was unheard of. It was something impossible. It couldn't be done. Okay. It went nationwide. And then I became a specialty pharmacy, which wasn't invented yet. I specialized in infectious disease, antivirals. So HIV care.
Okay.
And because of that, I was like invited into this Hollywood circle, which I kind of got a kick out of. I was like a kid in a candy store. So again, without mentioning names, I was basically hanging out at Paramount Studio, watching them film Star Trek. And if you know anything about that, that was a closed studio. Nobody got in, no exceptions. And I would just hang around whenever I want. It was very exciting. Yes.
Now, could you say that just being part of Star Trek sparked your curiosity of the UFO thing, what's out there in the universe?
It's funny. When I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a scientist. I don't even know how I knew that. And then when I was 10, I knew I wanted to be a pharmacist. So I always had an interest in science. So I knew for some reason something was going on. I don't know how I did, but I followed that instinct. So it wasn't so much Star Trek. Star Trek came later.
Okay. All right. And then, so we're going to get into a couple of things here, and one in particular, and I want to just jump right into it. I'm going to show something real quick so that the audience know what is coming, so they can kind of see. I'm going to show you guys just a quick little clip.
Before you do, I mean, really, I just want to let everyone know, this is a real easy subject, but I'm going to probably tell you 1,000 things that are hard to believe, but I make it as easy as possible.
1,000 things that are hard to believe.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to, and you know what? I'll let you repeat that by yourself in just a second here. When I bring you up full screen, I want you to say that statement, because I'm going to use that for a clip later. Okay. All right.
Okay, great. I'm going to introduce a lot of new concepts in science. I'm trying to make this easy. You're going to find this kind of hard to believe. So this is like a new paradigm in science. So you're going to hear like 1,000 things that are hard to believe. They won't change. They're repeatable. And if you just let the information flow in, you'll probably find it pretty easy within a few hours or a few days. That's where I'm at.
All right. Y'all have it. We're going to have 1,000 things that just going to be hard to believe. And so that'll take you into the next year, Christmas, something to talk about over Christmas dinner, all of the things. So you're going to have a conversation piece when this show is done for you. And so you can definitely share it. And if you hear already, you get some value out of this, definitely hit the like button from there. All right. So let's get into, I'm going to show a video first, and and then we'll come back to kind of describe a little bit what's in one of these videos, but I'm just going to share one with the audience a little bit right now. Hang on. All right, so I saw that, and we'll bring it back to them in a minute, but that was the video, I think, of the Texas Blue Angels, okay? And there was that dragon that you spoke about that when you slowed it down popped up in this. Now, this is in Texas, though. So, and then I know we're focusing on what's happening in the Marina del Rey area. So how did this get to Texas? And then we'll get into what are we calling these dragons and details from there.
Okay, well, if this is science is real, then it's real throughout the world.
Okay.
Maybe in the universe, but it will certainly it's not just real in Los Angeles. It would have to be real in the world. So
Okay.
these small UAP drones are ubiquitous. They're throughout the world. And because I've used all my training in science as a pharmacist, quite a bit of training required. I was able to take that discipline and focus on this phenomenon and kind of like break the code as a code breaker. And I came to conclusions. If they're in Los Angeles, then they're in other cities, and you follow this format, and this is how you would find them. So one of my theories was they like to fly with military jets. So all I did was I went on YouTube. I punched in jets over Dallas, jets over New York, jets over Salt Lake City. And if my theory is correct, you will see these small UAP drones, these dragons flying around. And I got lucky. It's 100% correct.
Wow. So let me get this right. You first took your pharmacy ninja skills, like you said, and okay, I'm gonna apply this over here to this. And you came up with this what first would be a hypothesis, and now it became a theory that they fly around military jets. Why is this? Are they just toying with our military, or is there something that I don't know? I mean, because I live here in Texas, and there's a military base not far from here that they do a lot of more of the helicopters and stuff as well. But why do these dragons appear that they want to toy with our military jets?
Great question. So real quick, let me just address why you're saying, some of your viewers are saying, why is he calling these dragons? Is this a game? Is this some kind of video game? No, because 5 years ago, I thought these were dragonflies when I was recording them. They had to be dragonflies. What else could they be? The concept of a UFO didn't exist, so they had to be dragonflies. Then I went out, I got a better camera, a Panasonic 4K 60 frames. I studied the flight of dragonflies on YouTube, and I realized, look, these things are not dragonflies. Later, I also concluded that these things have to be operating on high voltage electricity. And another term for high voltage electricity is dragon current. So that's where I got the moniker from, the term.
Okay, so we're not talking. So for the audience here, and there's Jacob's here, he said he found it hard to believe that someone can tell him anything. That's hard to believe these days. And so I know, right? So where we're going to go with this is, and for the audience, listen, we're not talking about the little buzzy dragonflies. We're giving this the name of that. So when did you first discover it? I know you first said that you went to prove the test that they're flying around military jets, but when did you first discover one of these UAPs / dragons? And then we'll allude to dragons as we move forward into the show.
Okay, probably the fastest, most accurate answer was 5 years ago. For some reason, the Army and the Coast Guard started flying around Marina del Rey, low altitude, 100, 200 feet, and they would show up for 3 or 4 hours every day for a week. And that just doesn't happen. That's not what Marina del Rey is. There's nothing here that would warrant that kind of attention. So I pulled out my camera and I decided, let's record these helicopters. What's going on? And when I did, I slowed it down, and you can see these small objects flying around the helicopters. So
I know. I watched some of your videos, and when you did slow it down, you can see them just going across. I was like, darn, whoa, okay. But there is military bases have to be there's so much frequency there. You think the base was designed to track those things there? And we'll get into some details in just a moment, so that people won't think, well, all these helicopters are just military exercises. You know what I mean?
Great question. Great question. Well, first of all, I've lived in Marina del Rey since 1992. That's 30 years. So I know the area. I know the sky. I always look up. I look around. If anything new's flying around, it's going to catch my eye. So in other words, really, Marina del Rey, Los Angeles is not a military city. You do not see military aircraft. and then certainly Marina del Rey. It's incongruous. It's out of place. And then the closest military base is something like 100 miles north or south. So no, they are out of place. And that's what caught my attention. That's why I started recording them. So basically, I'll start at 2017, but I did accidentally record my first dragon in 2014. But things really took off in 2017. Yes.
Wow. Well, like I said, for those of you just hopping in, dragons is a reference point of these small UAP anomalies that are flying around Marina del Rey. And Dr. Shiepe here actually invested in some sophisticated equipment. In fact, let me guys kind of show you some of his camera equipment here, and he can kind of tell us, what are we looking at? What kind of camera equipment is this?
Okay, so we're looking at, I upgraded to a Panasonic X1000 at 4K resolution, 60 frames. It can do 1080 recording at 240 frames, but it's not so much you need a lot of frames, you need a lot of resolution. And I actually went out and I got a second camera because the work is so important that if the first camera ever went down, I don't want to lose any video. Even though I have 4,000 videos, I don't want to lose any future videos. So I always have a backup. Now, what you see on the top, the camera comes with a small 2-inch monitor, but it's way too small to see anything in real time. So I had to, and being an inventor, I just got my first patent last year. I invented I went out and I picked up a 14-inch 4K monitor, and I figured out a way to attach it to the top of the camera. And then I invented a light box because you need that when you're on the outside. And it works. It works really well. I tried to buy the light box, but it has not been invented yet.
Wow. So you patent that as well?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So now that we know you got skin in the game, you done made the investment. Unlike, we're not talking he's using iPhones and all of this stuff. So this is a serious, no longer a hobby on your balcony. This is a serious research and discovery. So let's talk about how quickly does these things move, and do they just take the same pattern constantly? So for example, you said they're here in Texas. So if I was to, obviously, because they're coming across your balcony over and over and over. So if I was in Texas and saw the one in Texas, would it continue the same pattern? And again, how fast are these things moving?
They're consistent. I've measured it after thousands of videos. I do have a few lucky videos where I accidentally turned the camera at the same time the dragon was traveling. So I was able to get about a 1 minute distance out of it. And when you do the math, they travel 1 mile, or 1 minute, I meant 1 mile. They travel about 1 mile. They're traveling at roughly 3,000 feet a second, which is 1,900 miles an hour. No sonic boom.
Okay, so I'm going to show a quick clip, and I want to come back to that 3,000 miles per second. This is going to be a video clip.
3,000 feet per second.
3,000 feet per second. So I'm just taking note of that. And the reason why I brought that, I'm highlighting it because a helicopter ain't going to catch nothing like that going that fast. Why are they wasting their time? So we'll get to that in a minute. And I'm like, no, that's awfully too fast for a helicopter. So to be chasing. So I'm going to bring up, this is a clip. It's about 40 seconds. And this was shot a couple of days ago, December the 9th. You shot it from your balconies, 2 Black Hawks around 11:30 a.m. So I'm going to show it, and then you can kind of let us know what we're looking at, okay?
Yeah. 2 Black Hawks, only one on the radar. Come on. Good. Climbing. When you're climbing, you're going to get tagged. It's climbing over Venice Pier. Come on. Whoa, look at that. Whoa.
All right, so that one, some of them you slow it down enough where we can see the dragon. I didn't pretty much see it in this particular clip. But talk to us about the tagging process, and then I'll show a couple of more where I think you slowed it down where the dragon, we can see it, the UAP itself.
Yes. Well, I think that video you were just showing was when you were actually on the phone for the first time, and maybe it was synchronicity, but all heck broke loose, and there were 6 Blackhawks in the area, and they came in 3 at a time, and they kept rotating 3 at a time. They didn't want to all come in at once because it would look probably kind of scary. But normally, once they fly over Marina del Rey, and especially, this is the mystery, especially the jetty, where the jetty rocks are. Those are the rocks that break the waves so they don't come into the marina too hard. Those dragons they're living right there under the water, in the water. And I know that because I have hundreds of video of Blackhawks and the police circling the rocks. That's how I know that.
Wow. And it's, you know, I was watching a new documentary, a screener from David Pilates that was sent out to me to take a look at the 411 UFO phenomena, you know, his new thing. And one of the things he used as a point, he was saying out of 5 points that they had to start seeing was these UAPs or disappearances, all had to do with these rocks around water. And
wow. Really?
yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. It might be something you want to check out. He specifically said these the rocks and streams, but he mentioned where rocks, you know, around these waters where a lot of these abductions was just happening. So it's and he mentioned something toward that. So that's pretty interesting. So again, when they're getting tagged and they're being tagged, you use the word tag, or they're being tagged by the military saying, oh, we see it now, let's track it, or what is tag? Because when that was going up, you said it's about to get tagged.
Yes. So basically the concept, the theory would have to be is that our government sees these dragons flying around because they leave a heat trail. And if you have a really nice thermal camera, you'll see tracer bullets using your thermal camera. So they have satellites, and their satellites are seeing these things flying around Marina del Rey. So they ask the Army, the Coast Guard, or the police to go in and look around. That's the format. That's what's going on. Now, once you get to Marina del Rey, it doesn't matter who you are, any helicopter, I have to really stress, any helicopter will get tagged. And even goes past that. Anything in the air over 150 feet will get tagged. A tag is when a dragon flies into the frame or flies up to the engine of the helicopter. So,
but it's not putting the helicopter in danger, is it? Or can you share that with the audience?
After 15,000 sorties, I've recorded 15,000. I've kept 4,000 videos. Nothing has happened yet. Probably the only thing that's happened is I think we got one lucky shot. A Black Hawk came in. We got one lucky shot. The dragon became disoriented in the sky, started to tumble, but it was able to correct itself all within 1/3 of a second, and it flew away. But I have that on video.
You used the word synchronicity when last time we was talking. Maybe we was on the phone at the right time, but are these things predictable? Are you able to predict, since you've done this so much? I know it's time to get out there on the balcony.
Yes, 95% predictable. So this is the trial and error. I make it look easy. It's like, oh, here are the lotto numbers from yesterday. Oh, that's easy. So it was a lot of trial and error, but basically there's free radar on the internet. It's called planefinder.net. Okay, you go to Planefinder, new one, you don't have to sign up. It shows you the location of every airplane on Earth. So I'm only concerned about Marina del Rey. So I watch Planefinder, and when I see a helicopter coming in, I go out to the balcony and I press record. And I'm recording these dragons between 75 and 95% accuracy.
Wow, because I know when we were on the phone, we were actually, it was happening in real time while we was on the phone. Yet you were filming it, and then of course the show producer was pulling up Planefinder yet you're visually seeing more helicopters than the radar itself.
Yeah.
So how can the radar, how can our helicopters, and of course we know UAPs can do it, evade the radar? Why is plane finder not accurate? You know what I mean?
Right, I understand. Well, basically, in 2020, the FAA came out with a new law. It says every single airplane in the country, at least, has to have its GPS locator turned on. You have to have a visual radar hit, because that's the future. GPS, they don't really use ground radar. They're getting away from that. However, when they come to Marina del Rey, they are turning off their GPS locators. So it's basically flying at or driving your car at night with your headlights off. They're taking their chances, assuming no other helicopter. They're just taking their chances. I don't know what that logic is about, and I don't want to know. But yeah, you can turn it off if it's strongly not recommended. Leave your headlights on at night. Leave your GPS on when you fly your helicopter. But they're trying to be, the helicopters are now trying to be as invisible as possible.
Okay, so once again, we have some new people here. We're speaking with Dr. Shiepe, and he has really taken into being the UFO researcher, but obviously he's found what some would say, and I'm gonna say this loosely. I did an interview with Caroline Corey, and we were talking about her movie or latest documentary, Tear in the Sky, and it was in that area. It was filmed in that area. And there was a lot of backlash about it because, she came back and said, I think I found a wormhole. Now, it's kind of, I wish at this point now, had she probably introduced what you have been seeing in this documentary and these anomalies, these UAPs, these dragons, obviously they're coming from somewhere and they're coming in that point of access. It may be possible that there's a place or entry point to where they're showing and going or coming or whatever that could have probably added to a little more mystery to what she was saying. And from there. So once again, for the new viewers, we're talking about these UAPs, and now they're labeled as dragons swarming Marina del Rey. And Dr. Shiepe here has been documenting these things for quite some time. And before I go into the next section, who else has picked up on your research? Has it been shown any other places? Because my curiosity is, you got enough evidence that this should be now just all over the place, So anyone else? I mean, you get what I'm saying? You got the proof, and we're going to show some more videos, guys. This is something is there. It's in the sky. He's filming it and slowing it down in real time. You can see it. And then next we're going to get into him telling you how you can do it yourself too. So,
absolutely.
But so just share with the audience here, or tell my audience,
Okay.
Is there more? I mean, who else has picked up on this, but yet we don't? Why the big secret? How about that? Why the big secret? Let's go with that.
I'm always looking at YouTube. I'm looking for other competitors. I'm always looking. And once in a while, maybe I find one person who's posted one video, but they don't know what they posted. But for the most part, no, there is no number 2 yet. Obviously, there will be in the future, but there's no number 2 yet. Now, also real quick, A Tear in the Sky. I saw it. I bought the movie. And the wormhole, yes, I did follow my own format. I watched Blue Angel videos. I was watching a Blue Angel video 5 years ago in Palmdale, California, and in broad daylight, a wormhole did open up right in front of the camera. The Blue Angels, really crystal clear, like better than anything Hollywood could produce. It was better than that. And I did give that to some TV people. I did give that to some people, and they reached out and called the Navy. They called them out on it. So, but I don't want to speak for them. I don't want to say too much, but the video is that good. And anyone can go on YouTube right now. I could tell you where it's at, but anyone could go on YouTube right now and see that wormhole. And by the way, so what the Carolyn, when she's recording these dragons, these are the same dragons. These are this off the coast of San Diego. These are the same ones right here. And so our Navy is being swarmed by these dragons. And for what it's worth, the USS Gabriella Gifford was here a year ago. They parked right in front of the Jetty Rocks, and they did a complete thorough research. They brought out their best toys, and I documented everything. They got tagged a lot, and I documented them right here. So officially, it's not on the internet anywhere yet, the USS Gabriella, but in the future, we might see Navy notes released, and you'll see that they were here. But I've got the video on it, so it is what it is. These things, they're all over the world, but they're really all over the West Coast, and they're all over Marina del Rey.
All right, yeah. So definitely, I'll have Lonnie to make sure that we get that link to that particular video in case we can do some follow up with what we're doing here, and pretty much. And so let me do a quick shout out here, if you don't mind. This particular video, guys, we're here. We are truly blessed that we offer shout outs to anyone who have their own business and want to support the channel, and we support them back. So we're going to give a shout out to Rebecca, number one, and Rebecca has Clear Space Bodyworks, and so you guys definitely want to check out her website. And if she have a contact page, let her know. You saw this on Why the Big Secret, but she offers the tarot reading, spiritual guidance, energy healing, and more. So definitely you want to support her because she's supporting us. Also, Big Kids Go to the Potty. Make sure you guys get out and get this particular book by Nicola Richards. And it's on Barnes & Nobles. Yep, Amazon. There's a lot of available at all major bookstores. And so give a shout out to Nicola. She's part of the Why the Big Secret support team. And so we want to support her as well. Probably make a good stocking stuffer or some Christmas gifts, especially those. So make sure you guys reach out there. And if you have your own business and you want us to give a shout out, it is, again, it's you giving us some contribution to help us. And believe me, it's well worth it, especially if you are also getting shout outs on our Tuesday night show, which some of the videos now is reaching a couple 100,000 views. And so contact at whythebigsecret.com. Use the contact us form as well. So for those of you who also just know, if you got a little more, you want to find me, you can find me on Alien Endgame. This is now streaming on the Discovery Plus channel. I'm hosting, or one of three hosts in that show. There's a show now that's released on Beyond Belief where I'm being interviewed by George Norrie. And I'll be in the Open Minds with Regina Meredith. That's coming up pretty soon. You can also find a little bit of me. I'm in a show on Roswell abductions and UFOs. That's on Fox Tubi. And then, of course, if you go to Forbidden Knowledge TV and you watch the documentary, Black Knight Satellite and Beyond, I'm in that particular video on Forbidden Knowledge TV. And then I have an 8-episode series on Forbidden Knowledge TV. You got to check that out. And then up and coming on Ancient Aliens, I'll be in 3 episodes there coming up as well. Also, as I've told you, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel here, we're on our way to 100K. We got a long way to go, but with you and your help and sharing our content, we'll be able to do that. And then we're going to lastly have a Why the Big Secret private membership area. Now, this is going to be content that you're not going to find any other place. This is going to be conversations that's uncensored, that we can't have live on YouTube. There will be some other people there, social community where different social, whether you star seeds, whether you empaths, everybody can communicate within subgroups and talk with one another. So definitely go to our website, get on the waiting list, and also subscribe to our newsletter. And lastly, the Awakening Expo 2013. This is going to be a world tour with Forbidden Knowledge TV. Here's some of the speakers there. I'm in the right corner, so I'll be touring in Europe as well in August, but we'll be coming around. Check this out at the world tour, and you guys won't be disappointed. All right, so excuse me. I have my little apple juice over here. So, and I'm out, and I love apple juice. All right, so let's get down to, we got a couple of more segments here for everyone, and a few more videos, and then I have some screenshots of some areas, and I'll just bring one up for a second. I can't even, you can probably tell me what we're looking at here. this was the flight radar? No, or
Yes, plane finder.
plane finder. Okay. So this is what somebody will typically see. Explain to us what we're looking at in this particular, because I see some helicopters and I see flight patterns, and then I also, of course, see all the different flight or airplanes.
Okay, so you see on the left the little Army star, and it says call sign KNIFE knife 33. So
Yes.
that's a Black Hawk. Those are special ops.
Okay.
Basically, they fly out of Long Beach, about 30 miles south of me, and he's following the rules. He has his GPS locator on. They don't always do, but this pilot decided to play by the rules and leave it on. And so I can see him coming. I can predict the path that they're going to take because it's very repeatable. They do this all the time. So again, once I see them coming, I go on my balcony, I record them. They get tagged by dragons, and I have one more dragon video.
Okay, so is the green a flight pattern and then the white?
Yes,
so, all right.
They both are. The green and the white are flight patterns, but the color indicates altitude. The green is a higher altitude. The white is a low altitude, where they come in pretty low. Like right there where it's white, and you see all the way to the left where it says altitude 0.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty close to the water.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, when you see them coming around from green and dropping, you know they're on their way past you. And
Correct.
And I have to say, before we get started, did you get lucky with that balcony, or was it intentionally, or you were just like, how did you, again, because how do we begin to figure out it was happening right there and you decided to set up shop in the spot?
You know what? I got to tell you, I'm a spiritual person.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of blessings in my life, even as a young kid. And that's one of the reasons I was able to open the mail order pharmacy. That was a gift. And actually, you're pulling up we're the sisters here. So it's amazing you would pull that up. I donate to charities, and I became friends in the farm. When I had the pharmacy, they were actually my customers, and I still support them. They run an orphanage in the Philippines, and I still support them. And that's Frankie, my little doggy. I rescued him out of the street. Somebody just threw him away. It's just, geez.
Wow.
So I'm very passionate about animals, but it's from God. It's like if you were to say, Robert, how did you get this all lucky? This is ridiculous. It's a gift. It's a spiritual gift. And what I want to do with that spiritual gift is give it 100% of my attention and put this information out there, because this is going to help humanity. This is going to take us in a positive direction, because it's going to motivate people to want to go to school and study science and study rocket engineering and figure out what's going on. There's a lot of smart people out there that would say, if I knew UFOs are real, I'd invest my time. But since they're not real, I don't want to. And see, that's a loss. That's a loss for all of us. So when they see what's going on, this is repeatable anywhere. And I've already proven it's all over the world. Videos in Korea, London. This is going to motivate people. People are going to like, I want to study. I want to study what the heck's astronomy, science. So this is where we're going with this. So my point is, because of the mail order pharmacy business, I was able to live in a very exclusive area now. And so I'm basically a quarter mile from the beach, but I live at 200 feet altitude, which is unheard of in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles is basically a sea level city. So if you're living in the sky, it's a blessing.
All right. So
yeah,
I'm sorry. So thank you for being blessed. And
amen.
Before we get on to the mission, in other words, where do we believe they're coming from? Another country, planet, or all of these things? I think I asked earlier, why is this a big secret? Have you talked to other people? And, because you got evidence. I mean, everything else is speculation out here when it comes down to what we do in ufology at some point. Not everything, but evidence, documentation beat conversation, period. And you got documentation.
Yeah. I politely say I have too much evidence.
Yeah.
I have too much. I don't want to make a big deal about it, but it's just part of, there must be some type of life destiny going on here. So why the big secret? You know, this is this first of all, this scares people that there could be UFOs flying around, and I respect that because I was scared 100 days. I was a little nervous, but I was able to get past that. But there's a lot of people interested. It's like I said, this has been on the Discovery Channel, and I do give lectures at the Air Force Base here in Los Angeles. I don't know how I got that lucky.
I was going to say, because they would be the first one to block it, right?
You would think. I don't. It's when God wants to get things done. I've been invited twice, and I've called them back for a third to give a third lecture. So yeah, but in the back of my head, it's like, I wonder how much longer I'm going to be this lucky before the people at the top turn this off.
Man, I tell you what, I'm going to show another video, and then after you tell us what we're looking at. And then, like I said, we got a few questions because I want to really dive deep into what your beliefs are, you know, share with the audience where they're coming from and just what we know today. But I'll show another video after what you just kind of let us know what we see here, okay? And it's labeled 12/9 when we was on the phone, and it says K-band 326 or whatever. So let me put this together, and it's 27 seconds, audience. Here we go.
K-band. There it is, right there on top.
Now, for anyone who's watching that video, I should have clipped it a little bit, but around the 26-second mark, if you look real closely, that dragon flew by. You can see it clear as day on this video after you slowed it up. And I'm going to play it again, so you guys be patient, but this time I want you to look for around 25 seconds. The video's 27 seconds, but around 24, 25, just look, and even though it's slowed down, it's moving fast, you know, because that means it's moving extra fast. So you will see it appear midway, and it's going to go right across. And these are the dragons that he's been recording, and this is what the military has been chasing on a daily basis. And at some point, they can't catch it. So I wonder if they're just out there. You know, it makes me wonder if they're flying, even though they know these things are flying this particular flight pattern all the time. And maybe those jets are there, not jets, but the helicopters are there to keep no one else from flying there and running into one of these things because they don't know they're there. You get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we're going to protect the people one way or the other. We can't catch it. We know it's there. And they're not falling by our laws of flight radar and saying, okay, we're going to avoid something. But I'm going to play it again. So you guys look at it around a 25-second mark. You're going to see the Dragon UAP fly by, and he's catching these things constantly, and this is why they're there chasing them. Okay, so I'm gonna play it again.
K-band. There it is, right there on top.
All right, so if you saw it in the audience at the top of that boat stream that was coming across, tag it in here. Let me see if you guys seen it. Marla said show it again. Nicole is here. Someone says good eye. You know, let me know right now before we move forward if you all seen it. And when it flew over, like I said, around 20-something seconds, you saw the white boat, the stream from the boat. It came from there right over that boat. So just to kind of let you, Eddie said he saw it as well. Someone said bug or a bird, highly possible. No, not even close. I'm just going to let you know, Meta Gaming, that was not even close. In fact, he has, you got a YouTube channel. We'll get to that in a minute where y'all can go see most of these things. But this stuff is moving pretty quick. So let's get into, now that we know what is happening here, Okay. And or how it's happening every day, or this is daily, right? With a D. Okay.
Daily.
So they're coming by daily, and the Black Hawks are there chasing these things constantly, and they show up. And then we have whether the flight radar or the flight plane finder
Plane finder.
is set up so that anyone can see. And of course, we know greatness of Elon Musk is kind of ticked off about that. You know, people following his jet around. So he's saying, yeah. But since we have this here and this is what's going on, then you know, this is anomaly. It's happening. And so my whole question, or where I'm trying to go with the thought here, is that this is serious business. So now that we got this, where do you believe they're coming from? Another planet, country, another dimension? And of course, we talked about the portals and all of this stuff. What do you believe spiritually? Now that you've studied this enough, where are these coming from?
Okay, before I answer that, you said this is very serious. I mentioned no matter who you are, every helicopter will get tagged by this UAP dragon. So that's easy not to understand, or it's easy to miss, but without exceptions. So let's define every helicopter: the Army, the Navy, Ospreys, the police, the sheriff, the Coast Guard, the fire department, the Edison helicopter, and even the president.
Wow.
And so I have all those videos of all them getting tagged. In fact, the president flew 100 feet over my roof last month. He got tagged twice.
Now, when you say tag, and explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
Okay, basically these dragons, what they're doing, they're reconning. So if you fly over here, they want to know who you are. They do not make assumptions.
Oh, they're watching us.
Yes.
What you're saying.
Yes.
Roof. Okay, yeah. Please go deep into that.
Yeah. So they're reconning. Their secondary function is to recon all aircraft on this planet. So when you fly here and you fly in Marina del Rey, you fly next to the jetty rocks. They want to know who you are, so they're proactive. They will come off the ground, they will come out of the water, and they will approach your aircraft. They'll come within 1,000 feet. Sometimes they come within 100, but no exceptions. I just politely, you said it's important. This is really, and that's what's happening here. This is they don't look at you. They don't. I mean, last year we had 12 Black Hawks come in. I think what it was an effort to scare these dragons away, but it didn't work. It didn't work. So where are they coming?
Yeah.
Where do I think they're from? Yeah, I haven't sit down. I don't know the creator of these dragons, but I think offhand we have 3 choices. They're either off planet, so they're ET. They're from our future, or possibly from our past. Maybe there's a civilization on this planet living underwater. They want nothing to do with us, but yet those are the toys they fly with.
You know, it's weird when it comes down to, let me give a shout out to the vegan scholar. The greatness of Chase is in the house today. Appreciate the super sticker, Chase, and hope all is well there. So, all right, let's get into why would and I don't see some strange things in the last 24 hours. I was watching, and this is not a shameless plug, but again, the newest David Pilates UFO thing, and it almost appeared that these UFOs or extraterrestrial beings or whoever were taking samples and things from this planet. And whatever for a reason, there is some speculation in the documentary, and I watched it 3 times, and I rarely do that in the last 24 hours. That's how much I wanted to really take that in, and it just brought me into what you just said. Instead of us watching them, they're watching us. They're sending out these drones and dragons every time we are up in the sky, as though like, what are these humans up to now? And then it's like they're watching us, watch them, and then we're trying to watch them that we can't keep up with them. Okay. And you may also made point of water, which I tell people all the time, even working with MUFON, a bunch of our cases, UFOs coming out of water. That's where they are, period, point blank. Even in the video, the documentary series, there's a channel of water coming across the United States, and the guy was talking about that's where a lot of these anomalies. So obviously they're hiding in water channels underneath the ground. Perfect place. And it's just starting to come to me like, wait a minute, this is just getting a little too much. And we got Nick Larkin in the house. He's a former intelligence officer for the Navy. Nick, what's going on? And he's asking once again, why are you calling these dragons? So can you explain that real quickly?
Again, 5 years ago when I had a Sony 1080, I was recording these objects, and the 1080 is okay resolution, but I assumed these had to be dragonflies. They had to be. So that's when I studied the flight and images of dragonflies. I went out and I bought a Panasonic 4K, and I realized these are not bugs or birds. With a 4K high-speed camera, it's bugs and birds are easy to see, easy. And for what it's worth, you'd be surprised how hard it is to find a bug. Go outside right now and try to record a bug with your cell phone. There's not that many bugs around anymore. Something's going on in the bug world. So that's why I call them dragons. And then again, because I have a video of them cruising down Lincoln Boulevard, parallel with 75,000 volt power lines. And my theory is they're recharging. They're recharging as they're flying. They're recharging via induction. But these things operate on much higher electricity than 75,000 volts. And high voltage current is also called dragon current.
Wow.
So that's...
Well, I have to go against you a little bit, Dr. Shiepe, when it comes down to these bugs here in Texas. Because let me tell you, we got some mosquitoes that'll kill you. I mean, you see some mosquitoes get on these cows down here? Boy, I tell you what. And I'm into the spirituality thing. And I just figured, out of all the things that Noah did, why did he take 2 mosquitoes? He could have just left one. You know what I'm saying? Why save 2 of them bad boys? All right, let's get into some more things here. Let's go back in history, because everything goes back in history. I mean, ancient civilizations, all of our stories, when it gets down to this particular any of these phenomena, you know, there's some kind of remnants in history. Even Nick was just saying it in the chat. You guys kind of looked that up. So take me back to any particular history event, or take us back, the audience, that made a trigger what is happening now.
Oh, that's a tough question. Why are they here? I think they've been here a long time. You got to keep in mind, our cameras were only good enough about 5 years ago. It was the high technology of the cell phone cameras that is now making this possible. Before that, remember, we were living in a 240, a 480 resolution world. You could stand in front of your Christmas tree and not see it. It's embarrassing. That's all we had. But now we've got, again, this 4K, and we have 8K video. And so they've been here a long time, but it's the cameras is what's making it possible. It's one reason why the armies most likely started chasing these things in 2017, because in 2016, our Intel satellites were replaced with high resolution. And that's when they started, hey, there's something going on down here. So that's the connection. It's the technology, but they've been here a long time. But who knows? There might be something here in Marina del Rey. I mean, I could throw out some pretty solid theories, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, because really, this is Dragon 101. This is like introducing the people that these things are here.
Right,
I mean,
right. First point
I could tell you. I mean, I could tell you, well, they're operating on electricity, and they're probably in the water because they're extracting helium, converting that to electricity. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, but yeah, that's what. And again, there's probably some good reasons what's going on, why they're here in Marina del Rey. We'll get into that later if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're that. In matter of fact, I'll just tag that in right here. Why?
Sure.
Or we that's our whole premise of the show is why. You know,
Well,
we know how, and how is not as important as the why. So why the big secret? That's what we want to explore and get people's mind to really understand. There's something bigger in getting past the narratives and everything else. And so, having said that, how come our military haven't put a stop to this?
well, how do you put a stop to it?
Okay, I get it, and that's something that it's been plaguing the whole theory of all this at all times. We can't control it, and we never could, and this is why we don't. The military, we're not out there trying to talk about it, or they're not out there because if they can't control it or weaponize it or whatever use for it, then it's definitely one of these things. You just gotta let it do what it do, but don't let people know we got something out here we can't catch, we can't see most of the time, we can't outrun it. It's more faster, powerful. We just can't let it, and that makes sense though, because the public will just lose their mind if we know that we're typically can't be protected. Which on the other fence of that, then shows the power of benevolence to what's happening versus the malevolent theory. And I'm still with that because I want us to be always ready for the ones that don't really like us, right? And so, but I get it. It's one of those things. So let's get into now you kept coming back saying we are a little too early. And you wasn't referencing me and you in a conversation. You're saying society, correct? Can you go into that?
Okay, wait a minute. When you say too early, referring to what?
Well, you were referring in conversation that we're just this is early, and let me make sure my fluent audience, you guys heard it. You know, put it in chat to make sure I'm referring to the question or bringing him back into it because that just caught my attention when he was just saying that we were early or something.
Okay, I think you're referring to maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves or why they are here.
Yes, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, I didn't know if you meant us in conversation or society looking at this phenomenon.
Well, it is society because, again, this is 101 Dragon trying to explain to everyone that these things are here. And I get it. Like hearing the words of a new song, it's hard in the beginning. You're not going to memorize it the first time. So I get it. You have to hear it over and over. And I get that. That's why. But why in particular, why is Marina del Rey infested? Briefly, a couple of theories. There is a very large incongruous object underwater about 20 miles from me off the coast of Malibu. You can see it on Google Map. It looks like a hangar, a warehouse that would 1 or 2 miles long. It's completely flat roof. It's been covered with sand. Just go on Google Map and look at it. It doesn't belong there. So they could be.
Now, where is this again?
Off the coast of Malibu.
All right. I don't know if our show producer's in here, but if she can pull that up and put it, I can probably bring it into the thing a little bit later. So it's off the coast of Malibu.
Correct. About a couple of miles off the coast of Malibu. And it just does not belong there. It's not a natural landscape. And a lot of people know about it, but there's no follow-up on it. There's evidently, I guess if you try to go there to explore it, you're politely turned away. But look at the object. It's a giant flat warehouse, like a giant mall covered with sand. So,
really?
Yeah. So, so that could be one reason why they're here. Second reason is this is an extremely high intel community. We've got LAX. We have the industrial complex here. We have Boeing, Northrop Grumman. We have AT&T. We have newspapers. We have satellite. If you were an ET and you wanted to know where all the news was and the latest and greatest information is, you would be right here because they're hacking into all our computers.
And it said that. And I think there was quite some time ago. A lot of people didn't know this was prior to Elon Musk purchasing Twitter. He felt that Twitter was infested with uh, these ETs, AI, all of monitoring us through bots and things through there. And he said he wanted to get rid of all of that. And that was a conversation. And so it just makes more sense that they're finding all these different ways to monitor us. But now it's beginning to seem that this is not just one species or some type of ETs. There's just Earth seems to be that spot, as though like we go into the Amazon trying to go, look at indigenous life, and saying, okay, we want to get out there, but we're being observed by all over the place. Our show producer says she's trying to find that picture on Google. Let me see here. Just got a note from her in our screen. She says she's still trying to find it. So once again, you would go to the.
It's about 3 miles, 3 miles off the coast of Malibu, California. Look at the ocean, the X-ray ocean image, and you will see a large, basically a round square, flat object under the water. It's pretty large.
Nick said he's seen it on satellite. He's a former Navy intelligence officer, so he just said he's seen it as well.
Yeah, a lot of questions. People want to know what that is.
Wow. What? And it's not something people can visit? Like it's like another Area 51 type?
I mean, you could. I mean, and people did. It was on Coast to Coast a couple of years ago, and a couple of people said they were going to go out there, but we never had any follow-up.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope it ain't that documentary. I don't know if y'all remember, this guy was at a place and they shot him and they filmed it, and it, right in the head. And yeah, that was pretty bad. All right, so let's go into what are your thoughts and commentaries, if anything, coming from other people in our community about what you're tracking here.
My thoughts about other people. Well, a lot of people find this just incredible or hard to believe. And I've told them, now I do have I've told enough viewers. So I do have viewers like in Detroit, Texas, Arizona, St. Louis. They are recording these things and they're sending me video.
Okay. So I'm in Texas. So where about?
That would be, I believe, El Paso. I'd have to pull up the videos, but.
Oh no, I'm not going in there.
No. But basically the format.
I don't have kidnap insurance. I'm not. No. Not near that area.
But all you have to do is record helicopters wherever you are. Turn the camera sideways, format, zoom in halfway, record it for 30 seconds. Look for a black dot. That dot will be a dragon.
Wow. Yeah, the producer said on the back channel here that you see a bunch of flat line in water, but not sure of what we're referring to. We'll get some. We'll do a follow up on that for sure. Now,
and then also just to be transparent, one other theory why they're here. Do you know about the invasion, 1942, the UFO invasion in Los Angeles, 1942?
Yeah, the Battle of LA, where particularly that night we had an entourage of lights that fly. Now, according to history, though, we were just at if I'm not mistaken, it was the bomb. It was Pearl Harbor had just been a bomb, right?
Correct.
So tensions was pretty high. There was already storyline that we're about to be invaded anyway in that area, so people were already on high alert. And when these lights came in, at first they felt that it was a attack from Japan, and that's how it really went back down. It said that this is what's going on, but now, of course, these lights, we fired up on them for hours, and I think they said over 1,400 shells was shot into the sky. And then, of course, as everything else, and I believe that this was the dawn of the weather balloon theory. And they came back and said, oh, these were weather balloons. Now, unbeknownst to that stupid answer, all it did was show the weaknesses of our military at that time, that we couldn't shoot down weather balloons with 1,400 artillery. So Now it is the Battle of Los Angeles. There's movies been made on it, and it was now said that it was UFOs flying over then. So tied in for the audience.
Okay, so I'm gonna share a sensitive theory, and it's probably something that shouldn't be told. So it's just my theory. So a lot of people could just say, "Oh, that's a wrong guess," and I'm okay with that. But if you go back to 1942, the biggest thing in science back then was nuclear fusion, and people were experimenting. The big boys were experimenting with uranium.
Yeah.
They wanted to the Manhattan Project.
Yes.
So they wanted to see, well, hey, let's experiment. Let's do. Well, some of that experimenting was going on here in LA, and my assumption is it was about to go real bad. It was about to go critical. And these UFOs, they showed up and neutralized that uranium before it did explode and went critical. Because if it did, we wouldn't be living in LA right now. And that's
Never
why.
heard that.
No, it's because I was always baffled. Why would UFOs hover for 90 minutes? And it took them 90 minutes to neutralize the radiation. That's what's going on. And you're like, well, where did you get that theory from? Well, being a pharmacist, you'd be surprised how many secrets people tell their pharmacists. And yeah, let's just say there's some extreme waste buried in Marina del Rey. Extremely bad. I don't even know how it's legal, but it's still there to this day. And I think maybe it's still being monitored by these dragons.
You know what? I do not. What's the word am I looking for? I'm not contesting your theory or whatever, not because I don't think things are possible. I just watched the documentary once again, and there's this disease that's going around. We called it mad cow at one point. Now it's called I forget what it is, but this deer zombie disease that's killing these deer and elk. And just this year alone, they start reporting UFOs, and there are people that have reported these little things coming down, actually capturing these these elks. And this thing is spreading right now under our eyes. And people in the documentary could have been alluded to that the ETs could be trying to figure out a way to save us by they're taking these elk, they're just getting all these elk together, maybe either trying to figure out a cure or preserve them or something, but it's happening right now. And so that doesn't surprise me now to what you're saying, that they could have possibly came in to say, hey, we need to neutralize this threat immediately. And that's one of the main things that we get all the time is they come here in peace. They're here to save the planet. And I would be the first one to say, I don't know if they're here to save the planet. If that's the case, why do people, say, well, they don't stop the war. They don't do this stuff. Maybe there's rules in place for that, but we'll get on back to that in just a minute. So since it is the government out there, and since what you're doing, and maybe they do know what they know, but have you been approached by any government officials or anyone?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I have not. Although for some reason, once in a while, the police will park outside my house, like they're just hanging out. And
watching you?
Just hanging out. There's no reason for them to hang out on my neighborhood.
Well, I mean, now don't get me wrong. You have a movie studio sitting out on the balcony. Maybe somebody's thinking that you're watching them, in their windows, or you know what I'm saying. This guy pervert, and of course you're not. But they're calling. He's filming me in my whatever on our balcony, and not knowing that you looking out there or something.
Yeah. No, I know my neighbors. None of that is applies here. I even have a picture of the police parking, and this is really bizarre. They took their lunch bag and they put it on their hood, and they ate their lunch on their hood looking at my house.
Wow.
I have that video. It's like, I don't know. Am I supposed to be intimidated or scared? these drones, they're not my drones. These dragons, they're not mine. I did not invite them here. I don't know who's flying them. I'd be happy to share my videos with the government. I'd be very happy. That's why I'm doing lectures at the Air Force Base. I'd be happy. I'm a patriot, and let me try to help out. I mean, I even have theories on if we had to, how could we shoot one of these down? I have some advanced theories, and I think they're pretty good too. So,
well, share them with us. Don't leave us.
Well,
what we got.
Well, okay, all right. Well, just one theory is.
Remember, we got 1,000 things that we may not believe. We might not have. We got about 20, 30 more minutes left here, but. Okay. 1,000. Give us another unbelievable thing.
Okay. Like I said, a Black Hawk a couple years ago did come by. It had to shot an energy weapon at these dragons because these dragons were disoriented for 1/3 of a second. It was disoriented in the sky. It was tumbling. So my point is, I would just say, first of all.
Did you get that on video though?
Yes.
Did you send that one to us? You did?
No, I don't think I did yet. No, I'll send you the interpolation, but just remind me.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna remember. Okay, go ahead.
But my point is, I would go to the Army and say, look, on this day and at this time, you had a Black Hawk here. Look what you did to the dragon. What energy weapon were you using? It worked.
Well, it's the same thing we use in Roswell.
Well,
remember, we shot them down with some type of energy. Yeah.
Well, real quick, Roswell.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion, what was going on, there was a violent thunderstorm that night. And since these things run off electricity, they were recharging from lightning storms. And the average lightning bolt is like up to 1.3 billion volts. It could have been that they got hit with a 4 billion volt lightning bolt. It threw them off and blew them out of the sky. But they're recharging. They're using electricity, but they're using it on next level. They don't run off a million volts. They run off of hundreds of millions of volts. And they do that because they have superconductors that don't melt. You can put 100 million volts through them and they don't melt. So that's where we are here.
Okay. I usually don't do this, but I have one of my chats telling me to stop interrupting. And I want to give them a Christmas gift, either blocking them from the channel or one of the two, because this is a conversation. Obviously, people don't get it, that we're going to be excited to have our conversation. And so I will say Merry Christmas to my watcher who tried to call me out and told me to stop interrupting and give him a pass. Just hang around with us and stay with the show, not you, but him. But anyway, this is interesting, though, Dr. Shiepe, because, like I said, it's just so much going on when we get down to in the government. You know, I call them the big secret keepers. You know, they're just hiding so much, and it's just so much is happening. You know, and I'm so just like you are. I'm really blessed to be in the position that I am, and the TV shows, and around people like yourself, and I'm saying this out of a personal note. I met a woman recently, and she said something, and I made the implication of you can't handle the life. I mean, I'm in a life of true fairies and stories, and you know the things that people, the unbelievable stuff you can't go back and tell your friend this is what your man does and talk about it. It's bigger than just UFOs, and I don't believe people walking around today know what is truly happening and where we are and what's going on. And so I want to commend you for even taking the courage and the money to say, I'm going to invest in this because I believe in it. I'm going to do this. And it's just really exciting from there. So my other question is, even though, like I asked, to have the government coming out, you know, like you said, you feel that you're being watched. Is that any deterrent from you, though? You know, because most people, once this start happening, they begin they're under this microscope, they can't handle that.
Of course, that's a fair question. And no, I've asked for this to come into my life, and God has said, "Hey, you know what? I think you can handle it, so I'm going to make this happen." And I am very confident that I can handle this. Also, I just believe in guardian angels. I know I've got some pretty cool guardian angels. They've always, in the past, they've always given me a heads up to things, and I believe that will continue. So maybe in the future we could do a story on psychics. I knew I was friends with the world's best psychic. He was telepathic, and he could make stuff happen.
And who was this?
A good friend of mine. His name is Glenn Falkenstein.
Okay.
He was the world's best telepath psychic. I can't emphasize that enough. He was in the Iceland Air Force, 1948 to 52, the U.S. Air Force, and he decoded literally thousands of Russian codes, thousands, and he did it within seconds. So that's a whole other story, but he's one of my guardian angels. So I feel pretty confident about going forward. Briefly, when the UFOs were over the White House in 1952, July of 1952, he told me about that. He knows why that happened. So my point is, I feel safe.
And then he told you why it happened, and you're getting ready to tell us why it happened.
Oh boy, see, okay.
Hey, listen, that's my job for my audience and to pick up on those things. So let's tell us now.
This is hard stuff to follow, but the UFOs were there not to communicate with the White House. They were there to say hello to Glenn as a courtesy. This is who he was. Glenn was in that circle. Glenn was in that circle where UFOs would just stop by to say hello.
You know, what you just said, actually, prior to you saying that, and I was getting ready to ask you the question, with you now taking this, not just research anymore, but it's more spiritual to you. And do you feel that they're giving you an audience as well?
Well, they gave me you. I'm talking to you right now.
Well, what I mean is, it's like you come out on your balcony and now they're dancing for Dr. Shiepe, the UAP. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess to answer your question, yeah, because if I know where they'll be and I can predict within 10 seconds. In fact, on my balcony, there's a runway in the sky to LAX. It's from the north.
Okay.
And if you look on Google, 2 years ago, a China airline pilot was flying over Culver City, California, and saw a UFO and reported it to the FAA. And you could find that, FAA China airline. Well, on my balcony, I can see the airspace over Culver City, California. And all I have to do is turn my camera on, wait for the airliners to fly over Culver City, and they'll get tagged. So I've done this over and over, and I have so many of those airliner tag videos. I don't even do them anymore. They're easy.
So it's safe to say to you, you will put them in a more benevolent form.
Sure, absolutely. Believe me, if they wanted to do something, they could have. So yeah, I don't fear anything. I don't see any warning signs. I'll be the first one to start hollering, we have a problem. I'd be the first, but nothing like that. I don't see any.
Our government wouldn't tell us.
I'll tell you if there's a problem.
They'll let you do that though. Would they now be like, no, we got to shut him down. He cannot reveal the truth.
Well, let's just say one day, if I call you and say, hey, I can't talk, I have laryngitis, you kind of know what I mean?
That's the code word.
That's the code word.
Hungry rabbit jumps. I got you. All right. I'm going to show a couple of more videos before we get out of here. I got a few. And then, it's these different maps and stuff that I wanted to show. But let's see. We hadn't seen did we see the Blue Angels over Texas? We saw that. Or here's another one here. It's kind of 15 seconds. Let's show it up.
There it is right there on top.
Now, that one's clear as a bell. So for those who watching, that UAP or Dragon flew right across the top, okay? I'm going to show it again so you guys can make sure you see it. I'll show it a couple of times because this is 15 seconds. But just when he said there it goes across the top, then just start focusing at the top of the screen, and you're going to see the dragon because he done slowed it down. It's going to come all the way across the screen. You can't miss it. I'm going to show again, and let me know in the chat if you saw it.
There it is right there on top.
All right, so y'all saw it. This crossed the entire screen. It came from over to the left side, midway, and went all the way across the top. Let me know if y'all seen it. And so tell me a little bit about that once again. So that's the dragging.
Okay, so again, so I'm looking at the radar. I see the Coast Guard coming in. I go out there, and I just take my chances, knowing what's going to. I don't want to zoom in too close. If I zoom in too close, I'll lose the dragon. The dragon will be outside the frame. So it's a little bit of an art. I have it on a tripod. And if you count the frames, there were like 6 or 10 frames there. So I'm shooting 60 frames a second. So that means that is under 1/10 of a second. 1/10 of a second is a blink of an eye.
Yeah, you slowed it up. So some people in the audience say they seen it. Some says harder to spot. So I'm going to do it one more time for you all. You're going to see it come in from once you hear him say what he said, then start looking. You're going to see it at the top. It's going to come in at the middle left of the screen, and it's going to be black, and it's going to all the way across the screen, okay, right in the middle. So start looking for it. Get your eyes ready. I'm going to give you time. Put on your glasses, whatever you got to do. All right, I know you're watching on your phones, so turn it, blow it up, get ready. And if you are ready, put ready in the chat, and then I'll play it because I want y'all to be ready so you can see this thing. Someone said they saw it this time. Someone said, okay, I can barely see Roderick on the screen. Thank you, Magneticus. I have lost 5 pounds. So, all right, that's great. All right, so if you're ready, I'm going to play it. And all right, somebody said they're ready. So we're going to play it again, and y'all check it out. Ready, ready, ready. Ghost said he's ready. Here we go.
There it is right there on top.
Now, like I said, when I first looked at it, I was trying to do my own little video analysis, and I saw the little boat, and then I was, oh, the boat disappeared. Maybe this is a video thing, but it didn't. You just started over real slow, and that boat was moving so slow. Then it came across moving fast when the video is slowed down. So those things are running quickly. And like I said, why helicopters? They can't catch it. What purpose of Black Hawks are trying to chase? Or so what is your theory with that? Why are we wasting time with some Black Hawks?
The theory is, I think they do not want to accept that this is actually very likely a real UAP, a real UFO. And I think a lot of them are convinced that this is just a wise guy here on Earth flying some type of Earth drone.
Really?
In their minds, they're thinking this has got to be an Earth drone.
Well, they probably by this time would have picked up the source, the radio frequency that's guiding it. He'd probably been under the jail by now. Don't pass go, don't collect $200. He's going directly to jail.
Correct.
At this point.
Oh, there's been
still happening though.
In 5 years, there's roughly been 15,000 sorties. We sent out the USS Gabriella Gifford, and we sent out two major research vessels that were parked here for 9 months. The name of those research vessels is the Decisive and the Ocean Investigator. They were here for 9 months to track and record and figure out what's going on. So easily $100 million has been spent easily to figure out what's going on.
See, that's why I promote the hashtag UFO taxes so we can figure out where our money is going. And now we can kind of see that. All right. So, Dr. Shiepe, I really appreciate you I got a couple of things here. Where can they find some more of your videos? I know you have the YouTube channel. Tell us, share that with the audience.
Yeah, I'm not a big social media, so I put everything on YouTube. It's probably not very clever, but Custodian Files on YouTube. It's the blue logo with a UAP on it, a real UAP. And please watch, I have, I don't know, 40 or 50 videos to review. You'll learn a lot because we've only covered 1%. I was hoping to cover more. We've covered 1% here. So Custodian Files, YouTube. Yes.
All right. And, my mind is working, Dr. Shiepe, and I can't get around the fact that your friend Glenn had them to fly all the way to the White House to say, what's up? What's up with Glenn? Why him? And what, and I know we were about to end, but this is just me. And maybe the audience was like nudging me too, somebody out there, because I'm like, Glenn, why Glenn? What's up with Glenn?
Yeah, what's up with him? God only knows. But, they say you're known by the company you keep.
Yeah, that's my point. That's why I was like, why Glenn?
Yeah. So one time I said, Glenn, you're telepathic. Have you ever met anyone else who could do this? And he goes, yeah. And then I just lit up. I said, who? Who? He goes, oh, I was doing this radio show at Universal Studio in Los Angeles, Studio City in 1974. And I have, by the way, he recorded all of them. I have them on tape. Mm. He said this guy came up to him and said, hey, I enjoy your show. I'm telepathic also. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, yeah. I said, who is he? And so this is where it gets a little dicey. He says, well, I'm a time traveler.
Whoa.
And then
we have to, you got more details on that. We're going to do another show on that because we actually are doing a show. Matter of fact, Tuesday night, we're going to be doing a show on time travel and portals on forbidden knowledge. So I want you to gather some information about that. And Lonnie, are you there? We need to bring you in on that show as well. And to answer for you, that fairness 8:30 Tuesday night. 8:30, 8 o'clock Tuesday night, and that's a big audience. We usually have about 1,500 people, 1,000 live. So, we like to give them some receipts. That's the young folks call it, proof of, of course, the conversation would be.
Yeah. And I appreciate your open mind. I wouldn't be mentioning just if this guy was a regular psychic. I wouldn't be bringing that up. There was something.
No, I'm come on. We're in a space, man, where that's the problem. And one of my statements is your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. It's time to think why. And it don't matter what you see, but if that mind is just closed off, it doesn't matter. And that's what we do here now is we want people to begin to get the curiosity that anything is possible, to allow them to then observe what we're talking about a little more deeper. I appreciate your conversation. So you'll be available?
Yes, I'll be available.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Lonnie will reach out because she's putting all the show details together, and we'll get you in on that as well. All right, Dr. Shiepe, I appreciate you as always, and I'll definitely give you a call later today personally anyway. To just chat up on a few things. And once again, we all appreciate you here tonight and what you're doing and the courage that it takes to do what you do. Because like most people out there, when it comes down to UFO stuff, they don't really put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. You actually putting the money, the time, the evidence, the whole thing and willing to come forth. And that makes you an A on my book. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas to you. I will tell you that anyway when I call you later, but lively Merry Christmas. Have a great one.
You too. God bless. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, everyone. So that was a great conversation. And I think so make sure y'all definitely hop on Tuesday night. We're going to be going through some time portal stuff and everything else. And so the show producer is putting together a great show. And of course, I'll be the maestro of all of that. So anyway, as always, let's just give you guys a good evening with that. All right, appreciate it. If you, once again, make sure you share and then hit the like button. Again, if you saw anything you want to like the greatness of Chase, the vegan scholar, if you want to do a super chat, you can do that, and we'll do that. But we'll be back next Wednesday. Or I think we may be off a week, and I'm not really for sure. I got to look at the calendar and everything else. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Sean for coming in, Magneticus, Nicole, we got Metal Gaming, we got Jeff. I'm just kind of scroll backwards, give us some and Banger Griff, wow to you. But yeah, just, you know, we together, my brother. We have Jeff, we got said that summer already. Marla is here, some Ghost, Diana, the greatness, and Jacob, and I'm just kind of scrolling a little bit for those who's been chatting. But in the meantime, Christmas, it's been a pleasure really serving you, being here each evening and nights, and being a part of this community. And so be safe. Christmas is out there. Hope you got all your blessings. Give your family a hug. And then you got something to talk about at this Christmas dinner. Yeah. Show them some of this video and see what they want to say from there. You got some stuff to work with. Good night, everyone. Love you. Really do. Love each and every one of you for what we do here from Why the Big Secret. Merry Christmas from our researchers, our show producer, Lonnie, from the whole entire, community of truth seekers and Why the Big Secret. Merry Christmas and much love to each and every one of you. We would do that. Good night.